Hey everybody, this is Tanya Barnett with Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett. I'm so super excited about our special guest tonight, none other than Patrice C. Washington. She is a mom that is doing it. She has babies in track practice and all types of things. So I'm sure you other moms that are tuning in or who catch this on replay, you can relate to a lot of the nuggets that she's going to drop tonight. I'm honored that Patrice said yes, so thank you so much, Patrice. I got a chance to meet you. I don't know if you remember, but you were here in Bowie, Maryland last year for your book signing. So I met you there, and I also met you at Act Like a Success last year. My husband was actually walked across the stage and threw up the hooks with Steve Harvey this year.
Oh, nice.
So that was my husband. So I'm just very honored to have you here, and I just, if you want to do a brief intro as to who Patrice C. Washington is. We all know you as the money maven, but let us know who you are when you're not the money maven, the mommy part.
Right. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here with you tonight. Aww. And who am I when I am not America's money maven? First of all, I'm a child of God. That's first and foremost. Then I'm Gerald's wife. I'm Reagan's mother, who is affectionately called in social media Mini Money Maven. And really, out of all of those, she's the boss. Like, at least she thinks she's the boss. No. Mm-hmm. But I'm just a woman who is super passionate about helping the masses redefine wealth and what that looks like for themselves. But I also have come to understand that I wasn't just called to be Reagan's mom. I wasn't just called to be Gerald's wife. I was also called to be America's money maven. And so for the last 9 years or so, I have really been on a mission to not, I wouldn't say try to find balance between all of those hats or all of those roles, but really also to create harmony, right? Like try to figure out how I can just be the best me I can be, as I try to balance these hats sometimes or take off a hat and get present in another role. And yeah, that's just me. Like, I love that at home, I'm just mommy.
Right, absolutely. and that's the beautiful thing about being mommy. I have 3 kids of my own. I have teenagers and I have a 25-year-old. And so for me, I know that's the look I get all the time. She's in the Coast Guard, actually. So,
wow.
Yeah. And so it's difficult, the different portions of parenting. You parent them when they're younger, and now I have 2 teenagers, and then even parenting an adult is so weird to say I have an adult child because I don't feel that way. I feel very young.
Well, you look very young, so you got something going.
Right. Well, you know what they say, black don't crack.
No, I've seen some cracky black. Don't.
Oh, Lord. But, it's just really important being able to prioritize. I think that's what I'm getting from what you're saying when you say you have the different hats. Prioritize, okay, what role am I playing right now in the space or in the presence that I'm in right now? So how do you manage all of that, the different hats? Are there times where you have to say, you know what, I'm about to step away from this and just solely focus on this? Or how do you manage that?
It's funny because I think, I received this award called the Claire Huxtable Award a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Down in Atlanta from Single Wives Club. And it was about being a mother, wife, and a business leader and handling it with style and grace. And when I got the call that they had, they nominated me or selected me to receive this award, I was like, with style and grace, they don't. With style and grace, that's a stretch because it's not always with style and grace, and it's not always with ease. Some days it is literally going from thing to thing to thing, like today. I was thinking that I had a full video shoot, a full team here, makeup, a team downstairs shooting. My daughter came in from school, had to make sure she was doing homework. But I had a girlfriend here that was willing to take her over to track practice for me in order to support me in being able to do this interview. So what I've learned is that, again, I don't think that I have mastered by any means balancing or managing well, I think that I have just accepted that I am called to be all these different things, and you can create time for whatever you want to create time for, right? But there have been times where I have had to take a step back professionally, and really tune in. And it's so funny. 2 years ago, I took a step back and people were like, you're everywhere. I see you on TV. I hear you on the radio. Then I turn on something and you're there. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I must have really done a good job kind of planting the seeds along the way, because I really had said no to speaking engagements for like a month. And I did that intentionally because there was one time in particular, my daughter was about 5 or 6 years old. And all she's really known is the money maven. I have been building the brand since she was a baby. So she's always known me to speak. She's always known me to travel. And then, 2013, I got into more media and stuff like that. And, there was one point where she ended up calling me the nanny's name, like 3 times in a row.
Wow.
Miss Angela. And I was like, Miss Angela. And then a few minutes later, she said it again. And, I'm sure the other moms can relate. It was like, am I not around that much that she's calling me the nanny?
Wow.
And then she said, she was 5. She said, I'm just used to talking to Miss Angela. Oh, y'all, that just breaks my heart. And that's when I realized that just because I was working from home, that didn't mean that I was being present.
This is why you were home.
I was working from home. Working from home. And that's the thing, for a lot of us these days who work from home, what I learned is that just because I thought, well, I'm present. Like, I'm here, I'm down in the basement. If somebody needs me, they could come get to me, right? In my home office. But I realized that presence and being attentive and being aware and being available, totally different things, right? Geographic location had nothing to do with any of that. And so it made me really take a look at the relationships in my life as a whole, not just with my daughter, but it made me focus more on my relationship with my husband, my mom, my siblings. And I'm like, what good is doing all this and saying that I'm doing it for my loved ones because I want to be an example or because I want to provide, if the very people that I love don't feel like they can get to me or don't feel like when they need me, I'm available.
Wow.
There have been times, and that was one of those seasons where I was like, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a step back. I started taking a step back, reevaluate the things that I say yes to. Sure that anything that I said yes to was truly worth the sacrifice. Because I got into this mode of, like I said, people were like, you're everywhere. I was doing interviews everywhere. Anywhere I was invited, I would come. I was speaking all over because, you're trying to build the brand and you're trying to get out there. But I knew deep down that I had no desire to be a public success and a private failure. And it was my daughter calling me Miss Angela 3 times in one Sunday afternoon that I said, you know what? I need to take a step back. And when I did, can I tell you, so much opened up for me? Like I thought that I was taking a step back, but what God really did was use it to like catapult my life forward. So I took a step back, and I shared this to Act Like a Success this year. I took a step back, and one of the first things I was able to do was raise my prices.
Wow.
Because you know what? I wasn't everywhere. I wasn't on every flyer. And so I wasn't a commodity that could just be easily interchanged with other people. It made me kind of raise my clout. So people were like, we really want you over here. And they became more willing to pay the higher fee. Like that was one thing that I learned. So then I started to travel less, but I was earning more.
Wow.
More when I was gone all the time. And another thing that I learned from that experience is that people, including my family, just respected me more for putting my family first. Because if I walk around saying that building wealth is not about money and it's not about chasing money, then that means I have to be willing to say, I don't have to take every gig because these are resources, but I know who my source is. And I have to put my faith in that. And when I did that, I feel like God, the universe, like it just honored what my efforts were. Not only did my business grow, I was nurturing the relationships that mattered. And then that started to grow exponentially. And so now I feel like the relationship that I have with my daughter, with my husband, with my siblings, with my mother, I couldn't trade it for the world. So it felt like taking a step back, but really it was a leap forward. And it all started with like being okay to know that I was not balancing well. And being honest with myself and saying, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. If the people who you love don't feel it, that's a problem.
That is tough, because my husband has said to me here recently that, hey, babe, you're here, but by the time, you know, you get done, he's asleep, and he's gone before I get up in the morning. And so we just have not been connecting. So you just really you just punched me in my gut. Thank you, Patrice.
That's what I'm here to do.
Wow. And I just feel like, okay, I'm here, I'm working from home, you know, everyone knows the system and the routine, and okay, at this time mom's doing this time, you know, I can drop you off at church for dance practice, I could pick you up from football practice and things of that nature. But it's even in the rush, it's like, okay, do you have homework? Okay, get your homework done, clean the kitchen. But it's really not a relationship.
It's not connected, right? Like at the end of the day, what good is money? What good is success? What good is building these businesses or these brands? It's the people that you love the most, right? Like, I love what I do. I love being out here impacting the masses. But if I am not having the lasting impact that I'm supposed to have on my child, with my husband, or again, my siblings or whoever, even close friends, like, what good is it? At the end of the day, those are the people who are going to support me. Those are the people who are going to be there when nobody else is there. You know? Those are the people who are going to roll with me no matter what, because it's not about being America's money maven. They love Patrice. So you have to put as much effort in, right? And being calm and talking and spending that time and really just nurturing those relationships as you do with building the business, right? At the end of the day, financially, can the business take care of you? Yes, but relationships matter. Relationships matter. Yeah.
Wow. That is powerful, because we as women, you know, we want to do good. We want to do good. We want to do good by our husbands, our children, our business, our girlfriends, church, you know, all these people. But in the midst of all that busyness, like you said, the relationships matter. And those are the ones that suffer, are the relationships, the very thing that we say that we cherish.
Yeah. You know what? You said something though right there about, you know, we want to take care of the husbands and the, you know, the spouses, the kids, the this, the that, the church. And the other thing, taking a step back, allowed me to do though, I started to say no to more things. Like, I started to put some boundaries even on my volunteering. Because, you know, as women in particular, we're nurturers, we're givers, and we want to help out. But I was like, I can't help out to the point of the detriment of my own family. Like, I can't help out. You know, like, you have to put parameters on your volunteering. Because what I realized, and I talked about this in the Earn More Money movement, which is my kind of platform to help women with honoring their God-given gifts. I said, sometimes we're so busy saying yes to everyone else, we get to allowing people to pimp us for our gifts. That's a whole nother thing. But we get to allowing people to pimp us for our gifts. And when I took a step back and started to even say no, not just to my speaking, but even to all those volunteer type things that I was doing, you know, I had to put parameters on it. I had to say, Patrice, you're going to give back to one group per quarter. You can't be spread thin all over the place.
Wow.
Trying to volunteer, trying to do this, trying to do that. Like, that doesn't work. You have to say no. And when I started to say no, it was really, again, like the beginning of me practicing self-care. Like, when I started to say no, that means that I have more opportunity to be still, and I have more opportunity to get quiet, to really talk to God about what I needed to be doing, not feeling that I needed to be all over the place, because that's what was going to make me successful. And I started to just be still and to meditate and to listen to my body, because I was so busy running, hustling, and grinding that I wasn't listening to my body say, hey, like, this type of food, you over 30 now. We don't eat this. Like, you can't eat it. Just don't eat it. You know, like, I was finally able to listen to my body and say, man, you're exhausted. You need rest.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve a massage. Your back is all tight and you're not taking care. You know, so I started to really, again, see that there was a bigger picture at work. And in thinking that I was doing all this stuff to build the business, I was neglecting not just the relationship with my family in a lot of ways, even though I was present because I was working from home, but I was also neglecting the relationship with myself.
Now you just touched on a whole nother, wow. And that's something that we talked about, a lot of moms talked about throughout this series, was that they lost the self-care. I know for me, I wound up going to the doctor because of fatigue, and she was like, Miss Barnett, you have diabetes, because I had gained so much weight. Yeah, I got up to almost, 190 pounds, and she was like, you're diabetic. That's why you're exhausted. But I was working so hard on my nonprofit, and, I was doing everything. I was Girl Scouts, cheer coach. I was NAACP, all these great organizations that give back to the community, and it helps, my children see me serving in the community, but I was doing damage to myself. And so I had to say no. And I took a course with Christine St. Ville. I did her Killer Moms class. I love Christine. I did her Killer Moms class. And in the midst of her class, I'm like typing up my email saying, I'm stepping down from NAACP. I'm stepping down from this committee. I was on like 5 committees. I had no clue. And I'm now diabetic free because I lost 53 pounds. But, focusing on everybody and everything. And I just lost sight of myself.
Yeah. And what good is that? Like, how do we serve our families? Like, again, coming back to that, because those organizations can replace you. They can send out one email blast and have somebody fill your shoes. But your kids, they don't have another mama to fill.
Wow.
Like your husband, he don't want another wife. He wants you, right?
Right.
And so, like, that is what we have to focus on when we want it to be about helping everyone else and I'm doing all this stuff. It has to be that. It has to be looking at the bigger picture of it all. So I do believe that, like we talked about in the beginning, like, we wear all these different hats, but I do think that some hats have to weigh more than others. Some things we have to put more stock in. I love what I do. I love being America's money maven, but that is not above being Gerald's wife and Reagan's mama. And when I started to really nurture that and make sure that they knew that, they were okay with me going on a book tour. Like when I met you in Bowie, they were okay with me, when I leave abruptly to go tape a show or to go do something, because it's always kind of like a last minute thing. You get the call, you got to go.
Right.
Because now when I'm home, I'm actually present and I can look at my daughter eye to eye and sit there with her doing homework, and I'm not staring at my phone. I'm not trying to do a million other things. Look, how are they going to just call while I'm in the
You're a mom. It's okay.
And of course, it's my husband. He has no chip. But now, you clearly not right now, because he must not know I'm on an interview. But now when I go and do the other things that I need to do, I've deposited. I've made the deposit. So it's okay to ask for that withdrawal. It's okay.
Now you just said a bad word. You said ask. A lot of women don't like asking husbands anything. I've had a lot of my clients that are having marriage trouble right now because they don't feel like I should have to ask or run anything by my husband because I make my money, he makes his. So how do you speak to that or address that?
Even when I say ask, it's really more so out of respect. It's not because I'm waiting for him to give me permission.
Okay.
For us, it's definitely more about just acknowledging that this is an opportunity that came up. This is how it impacts the schedule, because we live in community. If I say yes to something, it doesn't just affect me. It doesn't just impact that. Now Reagan's schedule has to be taken into consideration. And is her dad in town? Now I have to take his schedule into consideration. And we really have done a better job over the last few years of doing that for each other, because he travels a lot as well. So it's more about setting the atmosphere, I think, for just shared vision, you know, like we are in this together, which I think personally keeps peace.
Right.
Even when my husband used to come home and be like, yeah, well, I'm leaving with Steve tomorrow. I'm like, okay, did you ask me about what I have going tomorrow?
Right.
Or like, so now my husband will say, did you have something important going on this date? Because if you do, maybe I can leave after, or maybe, and now we just kind of work through it together. So I do believe in asking, not because I need the permission, but more just out of respect for the relationship as a whole. You know?
I like that. I like that. And that's the thing, you know, for me and my husband, is just really making sure that he's good, because at the end of the day, he's the one, you know, he's left holding the bag, having to do something with the kids or cooking dinner, running to the grocery store, whatever it is. It's a juggling thing where we really have to, and my husband does different things and he travels as well. So we really have to mesh our schedules to make sure it works. And there's sometimes where I have to tell people, no, I can't do it because my husband has something going on, or vice versa. And that's where that respect comes in.
Yeah.
I really like that you use the word respect, because that's another, you know, word that a lot of women, just especially married women that are having issues, that's hard for them to give that respect to their husband. So I really appreciate that. Yes.
I would venture to say though, respect is earned. Even if you have the title, I think that respect.
Okay.
And I think that, you know, we talked about this. My husband and I spoke on the stage together at Act Like a Success, and we talked about creating a shared vision. Because a lot of times, I think what happens is he's doing his thing, you're doing your thing, and you guys have two totally different visions, right? And there's nothing wrong with bringing your own vision and knowing what you want and being able to articulate that and communicate that to your spouse so that they can respect who you are, because you were whoever God created you to be before you said I do.
Right.
But in the same respect, as a couple, I believe it's important to have a shared vision. So how do you merge those two visions and like come up with a family vision that everybody can get on board with? And I respect what he does. I respect how we've been able to go from scraping up change, literally, to rebuilding successful careers individually, totally different genres. And we respect each other, and we respect what God has called each of us to do individually. But then how do we bring that together to serve collectively as well? I think if you struggle with respect, that perhaps there's a conversation that has been missed.
Right. Several.
And sometimes this is what I've learned from working with some of my clients that are women in particular. When they have a spouse that doesn't necessarily support their work, I always ask them, have they taken the time to truly articulate what their work is? Because you can't expect someone to co-sign and support something that they don't fully understand. So, you know, if they just know you always in the basement, or you're always in the spare room and you talking about having something going on, but they really, because you're in the building stages especially, they haven't seen any fruits yet. Right. Paper. They just know you're gone, you're unavailable, you're not paying attention, you're always on the phone. Like, they have to understand what it is you're trying to build. They have to be walked through the vision. Like, I have to show my husband things that I wrote out in my journal and then teach him how to celebrate the milestones with me. Because before it was the Steve Harvey morning show every week, there were random interviews on just Blog Talk Radio where this person had a show, and I had to teach him, you know, how to celebrate that with me so he would see that as success. And because he started to see the baby steps, you know, I didn't go from nothing to Steve Harvey. There was a whole bunch of stuff in between, right? And because he could see the baby steps and he could understand the vision, he had respect for what I did, even when it wasn't making money yet, when it was really just about creating impact, my name and getting credibility. He could celebrate with me those milestones, and therefore he respected what I was contributing. And I really think it had to come down to teaching him how to, because I was really clear about what the vision is. So there might be a thing too, where if you're not getting the respect you want, maybe you haven't been clear enough about what the vision looks like and what the milestones kind of would look like on the journey. So that might help.
Wow, that is great, especially for a lot of the mompreneurs that are on here. I think that is fantastic. The whole communication piece, and that's what I'm getting from you, from everything that you said. It's a lot of communicating, making it known. And I know one of the things that I always ask, I ask my husband to regurgitate. And there's been times where he said something totally different. I'm like, dude, that's not even what I said.
Right. Good. Still guilty of that all the time. I'm like... And I have to do it too. I'm always like, so what did you hear me say?
Right.
And it's like, he might hang on to the first two words. I've even had to learn, we call it landing the plane. Because, you know, as women, we talk a lot. And I love to talk. I talk a whole bunch, right? So I had to realize he says that he speaks in tweets and I write memos. Right?
Okay, that's me and my husband. Okay.
So he's taught me that if I really want him to know something, I have to land the plane. Like, I can't hover. I can't give a million unrelated details that he don't care about. Like I have to get to the point in a way that he understands. And whenever I'm more concise with my word choice, he tends to get it a little bit more. But when I talk like I'm talking to my girlfriend, girl, I'll say 5 minutes later, what did you hear me say? And he don't know nothing with the first word. I'm like, all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
After all these years.
Wow. That does not matter. That I have learned.
That is amazing. Well, I know you have to go pick up your baby girl, but I had one request of you. If you could share with us a quote, a scripture, a song, something that keeps you motivated on those days where you like, look, I just want to stay in bed and watch Netflix and stay in my pajamas. What is that one quote, scripture, or song that just keeps you motivated where you're like, yes, I can do this even though I'm tired?
The one thing that I always say to myself is that, Patrice, you are blessed to be a blessing. And this is not about you. And when I'm tired, like I was just about 30 minutes ago, you know, when I'm tired, when I'm fatigued, when I'm burnt out, because one of the things that I struggle with is anemia and iron deficiency really badly. And so that also creates those feelings of like exhaustion and, you know, you just feel depleted. But there is something about being able to use my story, use my experience, use the different things that God has just revealed to me to bless other people. I'm just reminded, like, get out of the way, because there's a woman who's not sleeping at night because she's waiting to hear something that you have to say. There is someone who feels hopelessness right now because they need to hear your story and they need to know that they can recover from any financial failure they've had or any setback, you know, had. Like, those are the things that push me and encourage me, because it's like, girl, this is not about you. And every time I push through, and a lot of times I have to do these things in spite of my fear, because I actually have a lot of anticipatory fear, I think they call it, where every time I do television, every time I do radio, I have to do it with my knees knocking, with my teeth chattering, with butterflies in my stomach. And people always go, you're such a natural. They have no idea that I am always afraid. Like, before, I just did the Steve Harvey talk show last week, and he always has to give me like a little pep talk. Like right before, every time I hit the stage, you know, it's one of those moments where I have all the butterflies and the nerves and all that. But I remind myself to push through that fear, because there's someone who needs to hear your story. And before I do anything, I always pray, like, God, just use me. If I bless one person, if one person can see you through me, experience your light through anything that I say, because I'm never scripted, I just talk. Give me something that will bless your people. And if one person is blessed, then I'm good. And that's the thing that, you know, when someone says, someone just posted a second ago here, they were like, I love Patrice. I think it was Tamika. Shout out to Tamika. You know, then that means to me that at some point she's heard me say something that hopefully has been a blessing to her. And if I came on here to do nothing more than remind Tamika of that, then I'm good with that.
Right. Wow.
And that was the difference. And that was worth the commitment of getting on tonight.
Oh, thank you. And Christine said, do it afraid. Hey, Christine.
You must have been burning. She heard us both say that.
I love Christine. we're practically neighbors, so that's my homegirl. I love her. It looks like Tiffany said, do it afraid. And so, yeah, it's just really important to push past that. And I thank you. I thank you for being, you know, transparent with us to let us know that you deal with fear too. Because a lot of times, you know, we see women like you and we're thinking, okay, she's got it. Because she's, like you said, you're everywhere, not knowing that you're pushing through that fear too.
Every time. I always tell in my community, I'm always like, let me just be an example. Like, I keep it real. I try to be as transparent as possible. You know, and I have the same fears. I have the same struggles. I've had mom guilt, you know, I've had, you know, all of those things. I experienced a 7-year itch in my marriage where I was like, oh, I'm getting an apartment today. Cause this, you know, but look, been there, say amen, right? When you
amen. Amen.
I really don't have to do this with you, right? Like everybody else, I think married women have had that moment. But I try to just be an example of what it looks like to stay committed to your faith and allow that to guide your decisions. Because if it was just me, girl, I'd have been had an apartment. I'd have been just because marriage is not easy. Do y'all talk about that on MOMpreneurs? Right?
Yes. Yeah. I actually wrote a book. My book is Being a Wife Just Got Real, Things I Wish I Knew Before I Said I Do. And
Can you
talk
send
about
me
that.
one? Where's the book?
I gave you a copy, but I'll mail you another one.
Then it's downstairs in my library because I keep all the books that people gave me. Okay. So, but when I leave conferences, I literally leave with like 10, 12 books. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody gets one. But
this is what it looks like.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be going downstairs. Let me see the spine because they're color coordinated. Let me see this. Is black?
This is bluish black.
Oh, it's bluish black. It'll be in the blue or black section downstairs. I'm going to my library to look for that book. But it's real. But I'm just so grateful though that this year we'll be celebrating 10 years.
Yay!
Because like I said, individually, has God given us visions? Absolutely. But there is nothing more powerful than the vision he has given us together as a couple. And I really just believe that marriage is about that. It's about
thank you, Christine. She said it's a great book.
I think it's about pushing through and honoring that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and understanding that there's something bigger. So even in marriage, it's like you're blessed to be a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta hear, like it always comes back to that. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That, I mean, and it's so important as married women to understand that this marriagepreneur, I call it wifepreneur, because we're mompreneurs, we're wifepreneurs. It's a whole nother thing, but we need that support. And congratulations to you on 10 years. It'll be 18 for me and Don next month. So I've had many, I can do this by myself.
Yeah, you're making it, girl.
Yes.
Inspiration.
Yes. I mean, and it's doable. You grow, you have to learn each other's love language. It changes. We recently actually just did a love language survey, and we mirrored each other. I was shocked. I was thinking my husband would be all touch, and it really was service. And so I was like, wow. So, marriage is a whole nother, and now he's commenting, yes. Whatever, honey. He is a mess. But yeah, it's really important to discuss it. And I would love to have you back in the future. Actually, Christine and I are working on our next quarter interviews. What went from reaching out to you and Christine and other women like you, 10 moms, now has grown to over 60 moms.
Wow.
Yes, that have just said, they've been touched by the series. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be with us. So anytime if you can hit me up and say, hey, Tanya, let's talk about this. I'm here. This is what Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett is all about. I'm super excited. If you loved what you heard tonight, ladies, please make sure you go and check out Patrice. She's online and I have it right here on my computer.
It's okay.
realmoneyanswers.com. And she also has a couple of books out there, Real Money Answers for Women.
And I have Real Money Answers for Men, and I have College Life and Beyond.
Yep. So make sure, this is college season. People are graduating from high school, so make sure you get the college book. This would make a great gift for those girls who are going to college. We have to put valuable things in our kids' hands, not just, money is great, but also education is even more
better.
Yes.
Money is fleeting, but people can't take what's up here. Yeah,
absolutely. So
and also, Tanya, thank you for the reminder, Christine. Also, Tanya, I want to make sure that if there are any mompreneurs that are on who are struggling with identifying what their gifts are, or wanting to earn more money using their God-given gifts, I have a wonderful free platform. It's called ICanEarnMore.com. It's the Earn More Money movement for women at ICanEarnMore.com, where I give you 20 principles that have helped me build confidence and understand that God gave me these gifts and I don't have the right to dim my brilliance, that I'm supposed to rock my gifts, establish my value, negotiate when I need to, and maximize my money maker. And it's totally free. It's absolutely phenomenal, if I do say so myself. And they're just principles that are practical steps that are going to help you understand what your gifts are and then leverage those to earn more money. So check it out. ICanEarnMore.com.
Yes. ICanEarnMore.com, and I get newsletters in my inbox from Patrice that are very inspiring, enriching. They make you think about your money, what you're doing. Also follow her on Twitter at Seek Wisdom PCW. Seek Wisdom PCW. She always gives you affirmations, money affirmations. Make sure you follow Patrice. I mean, this has just been excellent. Share this out, everybody. Please don't hoard this information. Do not become obese and then all your friends out there struggling. Share this out with anybody that you know needs this. All the women, we all need this. Thank you again, Patrice. I am honored.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here. Anytime you invite me, if the schedule allows, I am down. And I really want to come back after I get a chance to dive into your book.
Okay.
So I can add some of my real.
Oh,
Lord. Yeah, I would love that. So thank you for the honor of being here. And anytime. And mompreneurs, just keep doing your thing. This is not easy. But this is one of the most, I don't know what else I would be. Like, I don't know what else I would do. I love this space that I'm in. And I'm glad that there's so many beautiful, especially women of color, that I can share this space with. It is my honor. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And have a good night. And we will chat later.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya. So there you have it, everybody. This is Tanya Barnett with Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett. I'm honored that you all stayed, that you came and got this information from Patrice. If you have not done so already, please go to ICanEarnMore.com, download the information, join her network. It is amazing. I know that I've done a lot of the worksheets that she has. Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you so much. I've done the worksheets. I have her book. This book is very eye-opening. If you're married, it even says on here, Real Money Answers for Every Woman How to Win the Money Game with or Without a Man. So this is for single women. This is for married women. It is really a great resource and a tool to help you get your money right, especially those of us who are mompreneurs. Thanks, Tamika. I appreciate it. And so make sure you check this out. I appreciate, hey, Nikki, thank you. I appreciate the fact that Patrice took time out of her busy schedule. I thank you all for jumping on here. Make sure you share this information out. We have more great moms coming up tomorrow. I have Cheryl Wood. I'm trying to pull up my schedule. I have some other great moms that'll be on here tomorrow and for the rest of the week, as well as into next week. So thank you all. You moms, get out there. You can do this. You heard it from Patrice. She has given us some great information. If you're just jumping on, make sure you go back, catch the replay here on Facebook. If you're catching me on YouTube, and please go back, share, share, share. Y'all know what I say. If it's something that touched you, share it. Sharing is caring. It doesn't cost you anything to share this on your Facebook. There's no reason why. By midnight tonight, this should be shared all over Facebook. So share it on your page. Share it in your groups. If you're in different groups, mom groups, wife groups, share this information. Patrice really poured her heart out. She was transparent. She was honest. She was authentic. And that's the whole purpose and premise behind the MOMpreneur series. So I appreciate everyone who has joined the MOMpreneur series. We have some great moms coming up next quarter. And I'm honored that you would take the time out of your evening, your day, to join me on Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett. If you love what you heard, make sure you hit me up. I'm Tanya at realwifemovement.com. I'm also Real Wife Coach on all social media. So if you go Periscope, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Real Wife Coach. If you are a wife, I have a group called Being a Wife Just Got Real. So go ahead and join that group. We talk about some of the things that you heard Patrice talk about tonight. We talk about intimacy. We talk about making time for you and your husband, date night. We even talk about parenting children. And it's open for women who are dating, women who are engaged, and women who are married. So I just thank you all for joining Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett show. You can also catch me in July on Praise 106.1 FM on Radio 1. I think it's now Urban 1. It just became Urban One a couple of days ago, Kathy Hughes radio station. And so I'm very excited. You can also catch me on praisebaltimore.com and tune in as well. So thank you again. I will see you all tomorrow night, 6 p.m. We have coming up Cheryl Wood. Talk to you later. Good night.